Well guys, with today's Evo 9 video that I just put out, I also uploaded on edgasket.com a new Evo 9 t-shirt. Check it out, Gasket 9 with the 3/4 silhouette of this car right here. Super soft cotton, a little taper in the sleeve, make you look stronger than you actually are. So take a walk with me backwards through time, and then I'll explain what this is. All winter long, I've had an Evo 9 parked in my backyard. Here it is, Evo 9 backyard. And I just finished my Audi R8 project and I'm storing it off campus in a unit garage, which means my workshop is currently empty and ready to take on an Evo 9. First dilemma, getting the Evo 9 in the garage. This Lancer evolution hasn't started in months. Hopefully with a few pumps of the clutch, a transmission that's allegedly in neutral, and 3 months on a trickle charger, we can get this thing to fire. It's obvious by all the leaves that mice have been living in the engine compartment. No better way to scare them off than burning some 8-month-old E85 fuel. Welcome back to my Evo project. That's a good start, although I kind of assumed it was gonna run. So I can push the clutch all I want, but I got a problem. Shifter won't go into gear. I assume that means there's something wrong with the hydraulic clutch, and there's probably air in the line, or something's just leaked out over the winter. So I'm gonna let the car run for a while and just push the pedals a bunch until it works. I really gotta learn how these systems work better, because honestly, I don't fully understand it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing. I know this can't be good for it, but if I just push it as hard as I can into first gear, without it actually going into gear, the car is starting to roll forward a bit. The problem is this technique's not working for reverse, and forward is the opposite direction that we need to go. Well, we're no closer to the garage. We're actually 10 feet further away. Awesome. Time for plan B. If I can't currently drive the car from the grave that it's sitting in, the only other option is to pull it out. The downside to that is I need 2 people, and I only have 1. 1.5. The 4Runner should yank out the Evo, no problem. And Mitsubishi is an honest car maker. They knew one day we would be in this very position. Thanks for the tow hook. Hopefully it doesn't break off the bumper. And hopefully the 4Runner fits through this gate. An Evo weighs about 3,200 pounds, which should be a cakewalk for this 4Runner as long as my driver doesn't have a heavy right foot. Okay, so the gas is on the right and the brakes on the left, all right? You good?
Yes.
All right. With the Evo in neutral and the 4Runner's seat moved all the way forward, the mice finally lose their winter home. The front frame is still held together with self-tapping screws. Once I get the front panels back mounted and everything gapped correctly, I'll go back with a welder and make it permanent. Now that the car is sort of facing the garage, I'm just gonna lean the stick into first gear. It's not going into gear, but I think it's putting enough pressure against the clutch and the motor and the drivetrain to get our wheels rolling forward into the garage. And I guess my daughter's just gonna do a hot lap around the neighborhood. After whatever noise this was, the car decided it was suddenly okay again with going into first gear. Hey, I'm looking to put in an order for a gallon of paint.
Okay.
I'm looking for paint code P23.
What's it on?
A Mitsubishi?
That's gonna be an expensive color.
Oh, really? How much is expensive?
2,100 for the gallon.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah, I think you're more thinking shop line.
I think I've used both. Glad you said something.
The shop line, a gallon's $3.88.
Love that. Let's do low end. Let's see what I can do.
When do you think you'll be in?
I can pick it up later today.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, Ed.
See ya. $2,100 for a gallon of paint for a car that has been in 3 accidents. The Evo needs a lot of paint. And it's not just the front end getting painted, it's the entire car. Deciding on what color was a no-brainer. What color should we paint the Evo?
Red.
Red, yes, rally red. I'm lucky to have a paint expert 18 minutes from my house. A bit longer if you get unlucky waiting for the train. But not as unlucky as going to a summer camp at a graveyard. The kids love it though. I spotted a Harlequin F-150 in the parking lot next to the paint and auto body supply. Yo, what's up, dude? I'm fine. How are you doing, Dan? Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
I just ordered the Rally Red. I have a hard time believing if I'm spraying the paint, there's gonna be a big difference between... Do you know who Mr. Beast is? Good seeing you. Thank you very much. Say thank you. All right, see you, Dan. I'm starting to think day camp is a hilarious way to market your cemetery. Once this train passes, we can get home and get to spraying. So we now have everything we need to paint this car, which is a gallon of red paint and reducer, as well as clear coat and hardener. I love clear coat, that's my favorite part. So up until now, I've had this carbon fiber hood mounted to the Evo. That's the Sibon hood, and it has cutouts for hood latches that I'm not too thrilled with. That's the Range Rover hood with a bunch of dents, and that's a panel from the R8. But check this out. This is an OEM hood that I found locally, and those body lines look perfect, and now there's no hood latches that make this car look a little bit janky. Lord have mercy. You've heard it before and you'll hear it again. The most important step in painting is the prep work. Preparation here starts with cleaning all the parts with soap and water. The hood is genuine Mitsubishi, but came from a graphite gray car and was then painted Nardo gray. The fenders are brand new and they're aftermarket carbon fiber, but I think carbon fiber looks kind of tacky if the rest of the car is not carbon fiber. The bumper is brand new from Mitsubishi, but it's bare plastic, so it will need its own separate preparation before paint. Preparation that starts with primer. Because this bumper is raw plastic, there's not a chance that paint would stick directly to it. Paint will stick to primer though, so the bumper is the only piece that needs primed. Primer gets poured and then mixed with reducer before hardener is added. The perfect ratio guarantees a solid mixture that will stick well to both the brand new factory OEM plastic, and it leaves a pretty rough surface. A rough surface that needs wet sanding before moving on. Wet sanding knocks down all of the high spots left from this thick primer, and it leaves behind a smooth surface so we can get a beautiful finish while also being rough enough for the red paint to stick well to. Between every coat of paint, you have to clean your paint gun with paint thinner. This is the only thinner I have left, and I have to do base coat, no, I have to do sealer, base coat, clear coat, a whole bunch, so I have to clean the gun a lot. We need to go get some paint thinner. A perfect excuse to drive the R8. This Audi R8 is the next car I'm going to sell, which pains me to say. It's a 6-speed gated manual, and it's the best priced supercar on the planet. It's not the only car I'm selling though. And ironically, I sold a car last night. Now it's time to see if the money's real. Hello. Just looking to make a deposit.
I'm just going to take it to the machine and run it, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Ed, you're all set. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks so much. So before the end of today's video, I'm gonna reveal to you a new build that just got to the channel, and I haven't leaked any photos yet, but I had to sell the Land Rover in order to finance that new project, and I got a root beer dum-dums in exchange for all that cash. Service due? What does that mean? It's one thing the Amish never complain of is service lights on the dash. What are the odds Napa has paint thinner? Yeah, brother.
Who are you, sir?
I'm the most famous person in that parking spot right now.
Dude, your car calls.
Enamel reducer, and it is really not the same as, you know.
Okay. I need to clean a paint gun, is all I'm looking to do. I love how the sign goes perfectly with the car. Fortunately, Napa doesn't carry paint thinner. I thought that was a pretty simple ask, but I guess it's not really a common item that the average DIYer is buying. Just trying to be above average over here. So we'll have to run to Advanced Auto. I know they have it. I actually ordered it online, but I didn't want to drive all the way there. It's a little further than Napa. But about 10 minutes into this lollipop, barely getting any smaller. What do you think they put in these things? Paint thinner? Check out the flat black F350. Looking good. Minus right there. Didn't use enough paint thinner. Some people just ruin the fun for the rest of us. Imagine a parking lot paint job. Hey, what's up? Hey, go ahead. I put an order in. Yeah. What do you think about Donald Trump?
He knows how to grab a woman.
I'm here actually for paint thinner.
Gotta ask you, what are you doing?
Cool.
Painted or wrapped?
That's all wrap. Silver underneath.
And you're happy with that look?
Have you ever seen a Harlequin? I don't know if you caught that comment from that guy. He asked me if the car was wrapped or painted. Whoop, wrong gear. And I told him it was wrapped, and he said, "Are you happy with that look?" Am I happy with that look? I feel like I gotta be more prepared for people's comments. Am I happy with that look? Are you happy with the way your beer belly hangs over your belt? Are you happy with the look of your limo? The only thing I'm not happy about is the front end look of this Evo. I bet less than 5 people have sat in this seat. The front bumper is all primed and it's actually ready for paint as is. The undersurface of the hood doesn't need any sealer or primer because it doesn't need to match the rest of the car perfectly. It just needs to look like a beautiful red. The fenders are carbon fiber, and yes, I'm painting them. I know that's a bit of a faux pas, but McLaren paints carbon fiber all the time, so why can't we? We're gonna paint these with a sealer first to make them look a little bit more gray so that they don't have a hard time matching the gray of the front bumper before everything gets a coat of red. It's a nice day today. It's a little windy, but I don't think we need our classic paint booth tent that I've painted just about every car underneath. The only problem is I feel like every time I bring out that paint booth, something funny happens, so I feel obligated to paint under the tent. Heads, we use a paint booth, and tails, we don't. One-handed coin flip because of the camera making it impossible. What do we have? Tails, we don't. Good luck to us. I'm spraying sealer on the dark fenders so they have a lighter color to them before I paint them red. The red paint will look different if it's sprayed on a dark surface versus a light surface. So spraying sealer on the panels first should give the red a consistent appearance. I mixed up some extra, so I am spraying the underside of the hood. The bright red paint is next. For most generations of Evo, it was called Rally Red. But for some reason, for this Evo, it's called Phoenix Red. This gallon was over $300, which is apparently cheap compared to the top of the line paint. But I have a hard time believing my limited skill set is enough to show any difference between the two. 2 or 3 light coats of red ensures you'll never see the carbon weave ever again. Since I'm painting the entire car, it shouldn't really matter if this red doesn't match the current red that's on the car. I'll paint the underside of the hood first. Once it dries, I'll flip it over and finish the top side. Clear coat goes on next, and clear coat is like spraying glue. Misty glue. You have to wear this suit or you'll never get it off your clothes or out of your hair. Or out of your lungs. It lays on like glass. The underside of the hood hasn't looked this good since it left Japan in 2005. Paint job came out amazing. Couple runs, couple bugs. There, I said it. Honest YouTuber guy. Looks good from here though. Once the clear coat is hard enough, it's safe to flip the hood over and spray the color on the top side. This part will be the most viewed panel on this car, so it's gotta look perfect. It's the last panel I'll paint for the day, and somehow we survived without the paint tent. So while this Rally Red paint dries, or even more importantly, the clear coat hardens enough for us to manipulate the panels, this Evo 9 has exposed itself a maintenance dilemma. The headlights are totally foggy. So if your headlight problem resolves itself with a little bit of water, then your problem can be fixed in about 40 minutes. See how clear the headlight is now? The reason headlights get foggy is just from exterior wear from the outside world, making the surface of the plastic bumpy and the light scatters when it tries to go through it. So if we smooth out that headlight surface again, the light goes right through and looks clear. The job takes about 40 minutes, which is perfect because that's how long our clear coat needs before it's ready to be handled. The even better news is the headlight restoration kit from 3M costs about 15 bucks from any hardware store. Definitely don't let a job like headlight restoration overwhelm you with all the pieces that come in the box. The truth is all you need is a 5 and 800 grit sandpaper pad, a 3000 grit sandpaper pad, this squishy adapter for your drill, and a couple packets of clear coat. This is one of those jobs where the instruction pamphlet makes this look much more complicated than it needs to be. The first step is just to clean your headlights, and I prefer Dawn dish soap and water. It's hard to screw this part up. You do want to dry a headlight before you start sanding because the first few rounds of sanding is with dry sandpaper. Start with the 500 grit sandpaper and apply it to the squishy adapter that fits on your drill. And then you can grab just about any drill that you have on hand that'll take your adapter. It's hard to mess this part up. Approach the headlight with speed. Not literally, I mean 1200 RPMs on the drill. Oh, I thought you meant literally. It's hard to mess this part up. The R8 is a distraction everywhere that it goes. When you wipe off all of the dust, the headlight should look cloudy because you just scratched it all up with sandpaper. But even after the finest sandpaper, the headlight should look concerning. But it should be uniformly concerning. The 3000 grit polishing pad is the final step before clear coat. 3000 grit is a wet sanding technique because the fluid keeps the dust from clogging up the polishing pad. When you wipe it off, it should look nearly clear, but that's only because of how it looked a few minutes ago with all of those scratches. You'll see a major difference once you apply the clear coat, and you should wear gloves when doing this. This clear coat kit comes in the form of a wet nap. I could spray it on, but let's see how this works first before I get my paint gun back out. Easy smooth strokes across the headlight gives these lights a deep shine that they haven't seen in over a decade. Beautiful. The clear coat process really only takes about 40 minutes, which means everything's dry and it's time to see if our front end looks decent when it's put back together. Rebuilding crashed cars is always a journey where the destination is almost always a letdown. Because you realize that the fun part was the project itself, and finishing the car means that the most enjoyable moments are now just memories behind you. Fortunately, this car needs a ton of work and will make many memories. The next stop's to take all of this work back off and weld together the front end and make the rest of this car look as good as this front end. The engine bay, the interior, and that grinding transmission, bringing this Evo 9 back to life. So if you're looking for a new Evo 9 Ed Gasket shirt, head over to edgasket.com to pick one up. And if you made it this far because you're dying to know what project I bought and what that blue car is in the garage, it's a 2013 LP 550-2 Lamborghini Gallardo. I bought it off of someone you might know.